Welcome to a special deep dive. We take a whole stack of information and really try to pull out the most important nuggets for you. Today, we're plunging into the pretty wild world of artificial intelligence, specifically the big developments from July 27th to August 3rd, 2025. And this past week, it wasn't just about the tech leaps, though, yeah, there were plenty of those. It was also, packed with massive investments, really intense corporate rivalries, evolving questions about AI's impact, and AI showing up in our daily lives in some surprising ways.
That's absolutely right. Our goal here is really to cut through all that noise. We've sifted through a whole bunch of sources to find the threads connecting the breakthroughs, the big business moves, and, importantly, the societal implications. We want to help you understand not just what happened, but, why it actually matters to you.
Okay, let's unpack this then. There's a lot to cover, so let's dive right into what we're calling the AI battleground. So this week showed some, frankly, incredibly intense competition and huge financial shifts defining the AI landscape. Where do we even start?
Well, maybe the most dramatic point was the direct confrontation between Anthropic and OpenAI. Anthropic actually banned OpenAI from using its Claude model.
Banned them. Completely.
Yeah, they alleged a clear violation of commercial terms, essentially saying OpenAI used their API to help develop the competing GPT-5 model.
Okay, wow. And OpenAI's response?
They defended it, of course.
Yeah.
Said it was just standard industry practice, for benchmarking.
So this isn't just a squabble over terms, is it? It feels like a really strategic move, especially right before the GPT-5 launch. What's that tell us?
Exactly. It signals this, escalating data war, where access to models, even the underlying data, becomes a weapon. Anthropic's play really highlights that controlling these training environments is now just as critical as the models themselves, especially when you're fighting for enterprise trust.
Right.
And it's not their first aggressive move either. Remember, they cut off that startup, Windsurf, right before a rival tried to buy them.
Okay. So there's a pattern.
Seems like it. And the timing here, just weeks before GPT-5's launch, feels like it's explicitly designed to disrupt OpenAI's final prep. Put them in crisis mode, perhaps.
And speaking of power plays, Anthropic has really surged, haven't they? Market dominance-wise.
Oh, definitely. They now hold 32% of the enterprise LLM market share. That actually puts them ahead of OpenAI's 25%.
32%, that's huge.
It is. And enterprise spending on these models has already hit, get this, $8.4 billion in early 2025.
Wow. Why are they growing so fast in enterprise? What's the hook?
Well, if you look closely, their explosive growth, especially in sectors where trust is paramount, it comes down to their stated focus on safety, reliability, and, importantly, enterprise-specific tools, like their Claude Code Analytics dashboard. It lets businesses not just use Claude, but actually analyze and optimize how it works within their own code. That builds crucial trust for big companies.
Interesting. So is that focus on safety purely ethical, or is it also, a really smart business strategy to stand out, where trust is basically currency?
I think it's probably a very effective combination of both. They've definitely carved out a strong niche. Meanwhile, you can't ignore the sheer financial power of the titans, like Microsoft.
Right.
They just had a record $30 billion quarterly spend just on cloud and AI infrastructure. Shows their early AI bets are seriously paying off.
$30 billion in a quarter.
Yep. And Microsoft just became the second company ever to hit a $4 trillion market cap.
Yeah.
Mostly driven by AI-powered Azure.
That number is just staggering. But does their success with Azure maybe create its own problem for them now?
It could, yeah. Microsoft's facing scrutiny precisely because OpenAI seems to be actively diversifying. They're expanding partnerships with other cloud providers.
So OpenAI doesn't want all its eggs in the Azure basket.
Exactly. It looks like a clear move to reduce dependency on Azure, which could, shift the balance of power in AI cloud services down the road. It's a strategic dance.
And while these software and cloud fights are happening, the actual hardware underneath it all is just as critical, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The hardware race is heating up, and it's tangled up with geopolitics. Like this week, the U.S. eased some restrictions on NVIDIA shipping certain AI chips to China.
Okay.
But almost immediately after that, Chinese regulators summoned NVIDIA executives, alleged backdoor vulnerabilities in their H20 chips.
Right. So not just trade, but national security anxieties playing out. Deep strategic tension over the actual silicon.
Precisely, where the hardware itself is a point of suspicion between global powers.
Meanwhile, trying to build some independence, OpenAI is launching Stargate Norway, its first European AI gigafactory.
Yeah, that's a massive project, €1 billion with Nescale and Acre. They're aiming for 100,000 NVIDIA GPUs by the end of 2026.
And powered entirely by renewable hydropower.
That's the plan. It's a huge step for Europe's AI sovereignty, boosts regional innovation, and directly counters those worries about depending too much on US or Chinese data centers. It's about self-reliance.
And it's not just the giants making moves in hardware.
Yeah. It's not at all. Grok, the NVIDIA challenger, is apparently nearing a $6 billion valuation. Yeah. So the hardware ecosystem is diversifying.
Okay.
Plus, we saw a new Chinese AI model pop up that costs like 87% less than DeepSeek.
87% less. How much are we talking?
Just 0.11 cents per million input tokens. Compare that to DeepSeek's $1.85 plus.
That's incredibly aggressive. That could shake things up globally.
Absolutely. It puts immense pressure on competitors and could really accelerate AI adoption in new markets. Disruptive pricing, for sure.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, I think. All this money, all this power, it inevitably brings up some complex ethical and legal questions.
Without a doubt. Take Anthropic again. Their recent funding round, $3 to $5 billion, valued them at an astonishing $170 billion.
Wait, $170 billion? Didn't they just raise money?
Yeah, they nearly tripled their valuation in just 4 months. It's mind-boggling.
But there's a catch.
Well, it highlights attention. The funding involved sovereign wealth funds from Qatar and Singapore. This is despite CEO Dario Amodei publicly voicing ethical concerns about certain funding sources and the risks of scaling powerful AI too quickly.
So a potential conflict between the drive for rapid growth and maintaining that ethical high ground.
It certainly underscores that dilemma.
And on the legal front, the stakes seem just as high.
Huge. Anthropic could owe billions in damages over claims they used pirated books to train their AI models.
Billions. That could reshape copyright law for AI, couldn't it?
It really could. It gets to the heart of what data is permissible for training. And it's not just Anthropic. Meta is also being sued over allegations of using pirated and even explicit content for its training data.
So huge questions about data sourcing and responsibility across the board.
These cases aren't just isolated lawsuits. They're trying to set the foundational rules for how AI gets built. And if you connect this to the broader societal impact, well, AI automation is already leading to job cuts. We saw major ones at India's Tata Consultancy Services, TCS.
Right. And there was that Microsoft research study.
Yeah, it identified 40 jobs most impacted by AI, mostly office-based knowledge work roles. Think translators, writers, customer support, data analysts.
So it's not just about jobs disappearing, but a shift in the kinds of skills needed.
Exactly. The key takeaway isn't just which jobs, but the pattern. AI is mainly automating tasks in the knowledge economy. Translation, data analysis, that kind of thing.
Okay, but what about jobs AI isn't touching as much?
Crucially, the study found that jobs needing physical dexterity, human empathy, or hands-on problem solving like cleaning, construction, nursing assistance, they're proving much more resilient.
So a shift towards roles that leverage uniquely human capabilities.
Seems to be the trend, yeah.
That's a lot on the ecosystem and its impact.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears now to the tech itself, the new capabilities, the innovations that really push boundaries this week.
Well, the big one looming is GPT-5. We got some significant hints from OpenAI execs this week. They suggested it's nearing completion, maybe an August 2025 launch.
August, okay. And what's it supposed to do?
The expectation is it'll combine advanced multimodal reasoning, understanding text, images, sound, maybe more, plus real-time adaptability, and vastly improved safety systems.
But they're also comparing its implications to the Manhattan Project. That's a heavy comparison. What does that signal?
It signals they recognize the immense power and the potential risks. Just like the Manhattan Project changed geopolitics, GPT-5 is seen as potentially reshaping what AI can achieve. Hence the urgent calls for stronger governance around it.
A lot to live up to. Okay, on a different research track, what about this Manus AI wide research feature? Sounds ambitious.
It is. The idea is deploying over 100 general-purpose AI agents, working in parallel on one big research task. Like having your own personal supercomputing cluster made of AIs.
A swarm of AIs tackling a problem. But you mentioned Manus has faced regulatory bans. Seems a bit like the Wild West.
It is still experimental, yeah. No public performance benchmarks yet. But the concept itself, commanding an army of AIs, that's a glimpse into a future where AI research could be fundamentally different, not just faster.
Another interesting capability idea. IBM exploring AI metacognition. Teaching AI to second-guess itself.
Essentially, yeah. Teaching AI to think about its own thinking, to check its own reasoning before giving an answer.
Like AI checking its own homework.
Exactly. Imagine an AI verifying its own logic. That could dramatically improve reliability, especially for high-stakes stuff like healthcare or finance, where errors are costly. It's a step towards more trustworthy AI.
Okay, switching to creative AI. Black Forest Labs and Creo released FLUX 011 Creo, an open weight image model.
Right, and its whole purpose is to get rid of that typical AI look, the slightly waxy skin, weirdly saturated colors, blurry backgrounds.
Does it work?
Apparently, human evaluators found it matches or even beats some of the big closed-source models.
So AI images are getting much harder to distinguish from real photos.
That's the big implication. It's fantastic for creators, obviously,
Yeah.
but it also ramps up concerns about visual trust, deepfakes, blurring the lines of what's real.
It's fascinating how AI is also changing how we see, quite literally, our own planet.
You mean Google DeepMind's AlphaEarth foundations? Yeah, that's incredible. They call it a virtual satellite.
What does it do?
It fuses together all sorts of data optical, radar, climate LiDAR into these super detailed digital fingerprints or embeddings for every 10-meter square on Earth. This allows for continuous global mapping with amazing detail. They're saying 24% better accuracy and using 60 times less storage.
So it's not just making better maps, is it? It sounds more like real-time planetary monitoring.
Precisely. It's integrated into Google Earth AI and Earth Engine. And it's already helping over 50 partners, UN FAO, map biomas, others with practical things, flood warnings, wildfire tracking, mapping ecosystems, monitoring cities. It's really evolving Earth observation way beyond traditional satellites, almost like a living digital twin of the planet.
Wow. Okay, shifting to physical AI, China's World Artificial Intelligence Conference had humanoid robots sparring, like fighting.
Combat-like exhibitions, yeah.
Yeah.
And there were other reports of robots doing backflips.
So AI Olympics soon.
Maybe. But it definitely shows rapid progress in robotics, embodied AI physical dexterity, real-time response. It's not just about processing data anymore, it's about interacting with the physical world.
And on a smaller scale, but maybe significant, ChatGPT can now beat CAP-TCHAs. Those prove your human tests.
Yes. Seems small, but it actually enhances its ability to do more complex web tasks autonomously. Less friction for automated workflows.
Got it. And finally, a really profound medical story this week. Neuralink.
A huge milestone. They enabled a paralyzed woman to control a computer using only her brain signals.
Just thinking commands?
Effectively, yes. It's a monumental step for human-computer interfaces, potentially revolutionizing assistive tech and neuroprosthetics. Shows AI's power to directly augment and restore human abilities.
Incredible potential there. Okay, so we've seen AI push technical limits from robots to brain interfaces. Let's focus now on how it's weaving into our everyday tools, our work, and what leaders envision for the future.
Right. And maybe start with the people using it. Stack Overflow's 2025 developer survey came out.
What did it show? Are developers all in on AI coding tools?
Mostly open to using them, yeah. But there's still a lot of caution. Concerns about reliability, the ethics, long-term impact on their profession.
So excitement mixed with a healthy dose of skepticism.
Exactly. They see the productivity boost, but they're rightly scrutinizing the quality and the broader implications.
Makes sense. And on the practical side, OpenAI launched study mode in ChatGPT.
Yeah, designed to guide users step by step through solving problems. Makes it more valuable as a kind of personalized tutor.
And we're seeing similar integrations elsewhere.
Definitely. OpenTable rolled out an AI concierge for restaurants. Answers up to 80% of diner questions right there in the profile. Streamlines things.
Okay.
And Gannett, the big news publisher, joined Perplexity's publisher program. That's about using AI for content distribution. Interesting move in how news might reach audiences.
Microsoft's also pushing hard on user-facing stuff, right?
Yeah, a few things. Copilot now has a customizable digital look that apparently ages with you. Trying to foster a deeper user connection, I guess.
Ages with you. Okay.
They're also pushing to make the Edge browser more of an AI browser, integrating Copilot much deeper. And get this, Copilot Podcasts creates custom podcast episodes based on a single question you ask it.
Custom podcasts on demand. Are we heading towards super personalized media?
It certainly points that way. Highly tailored content, instantly generated. Which leads to the question, how are companies using AI inside their own operations?
Right. What's changing behind the scenes in workplaces?
It's a huge shift, and maybe nowhere more clearly than in hiring. Look at Meta. They're piloting AI-enabled interviews.
What does that mean? Candidates use AI during the interview?
During coding assessments, yeah. They can use AI assistants. The goal is to make interviews reflect modern engineering work, where AI help is common, So the focus shifts to things like prompting skill, how well you interpret the AI's output, sometimes called vibe coding.
Vibe coding, so it's less about pure coding ability and more about how effectively you work with the AI. Guiding it, debugging its output, that feels like a radical shift.
It absolutely is. And it puts pressure on traditional hiring, especially since rivals like Amazon and Anthropic still restrict using these tools in interviews. It's an early sign of how AI might redefine skills.
But with all this integration, we have to talk about the downsides, the ethical issues, the privacy challenges.
Definitely. PCMag reported some ChatGPT conversations got indexed by search engines accidentally. Serious privacy breach potential there.
Wow. Okay.
Separately, there was another major leak from the T-messaging app exposing sensitive user chats. These feel like big wake-up calls.
I really do. And then there's visual trust. That viral TikTok video, bunnies on trampolines.
Yeah, AI generated. Fooled over 180 million people before it was debunked. Even people who were skeptical got tricked by how realistic it looked.
Were there clues?
Subtle ones, yeah.
Ah.
Disappearing bunnies, morphing shapes if you looked really closely. But it shows how easily our visual reality can be messed with.
And the implication.
These seemingly harmless fakes chip away at public trust in video. They show how easily misinformation can just blend into everyday entertainment, making it harder to know what's real.
Bias is another constant concern, right?
Absolutely. The Reuters Institute was exploring how journalists can better spot and address AI bias, treating it not just as a bug, but almost an inherent design feature to be aware of.
And we're seeing AI errors hit consumers directly, like with Hertz.
Yeah, customers complaining about AI car scans leading to wrong charges for damage they didn't cause.
Ouch, that's not abstract, that's real money. Raises big questions about transparency and who's accountable when the AI gets it wrong.
Exactly.
So are regulators catching up?
Some are trying. Europe is finalizing procedures for supervision and penalties as their AI Act enforcement gets closer. That signals a new era of compliance, at least there.
Okay. And the environmental cost we touched on earlier.
That's getting more attention, too. Mistral AI disclosed the huge carbon footprint of training its latest model. It's intensifying the debate about the environmental price tag of these powerful frontier AI systems.
So powerful AI is a big energy bill, another factor to weigh.
Absolutely. Huge energy demands mean more scrutiny, more calls for sustainable AI development.
So pulling this all together, what does it mean for the future, especially when leaders like Mark Zuckerberg are openly talking about superintelligent AI?
Yeah, Zuckerberg made very public pledges about transparency and safety as Meta pursues AGI or superintelligence. He's defending their massive spending and hiring spree. During their recent earnings call, he actually said Meta has entered the era of personal superintelligence, citing early signs of AI models that can self-improve.
Personal superintelligence, that sounds incredibly ambitious, almost sci-fi. Is it really about empowering individuals, or does it risk making us even more dependent on these systems?
That is the billion or maybe trillion-dollar question, isn't it? Meta is certainly betting big. They're aggressively recruiting top talent, former Scale AI CEO Alexandra Wang, OpenAI co-creator Shengjie Zhao, with packages worth hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of millions for individual hires.
Yep. And they've upped their capital expenditure forecast to around $70 billion, mostly for AI infrastructure. Meta frames it as building personal superintelligence for empowerment, not mass automation. But yeah, the implications for autonomy for society. We don't fully grasp those yet.
And Zuckerberg also made that bold claim about smart glasses, didn't he?
He did. Stated that AI-enabled smart glasses will be the norm and warned that people who don't adopt them might face a significant cognitive disadvantage.
That's quite a statement. Almost a threat, adopt or be left behind.
It's definitely strong positioning. And this hiring spree shows the talent war is fierce. Meta's lured more AI experts away from Apple recently, intensifying that race to build the most advanced systems.
And amidst all this, we can't forget China's overall ambition.
Right. China now apparently leads the world in the number of large-scale AI models developed over 1,500, underscores their rapid growth and scale. The AI race is truly global.
What a week. Okay, let's recap. From these intense corporate fights and just colossal investments to breakthroughs in making AI look real, new human-computer interfaces, all while we're grappling with these vital questions around ethics, privacy, jobs. It's a lot.
It really is. And the developments just this week, the GPT-5 hints, AlphaEarth mapping the globe, Neuralink's brain interface, they show AI isn't some far-off future. It's happening now. It's a rapidly evolving present, actively shaping our world.
And our aim here, as always, is to give you a structured way to understand these complex shifts. Something comprehensive, but hopefully digestible, helping you stay ahead without feeling totally overwhelmed.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. As AI gets more powerful, as it integrates more seamlessly into our lives, how we work, learn, even how we perceive reality, how do we make sure it serves humanity's best interests? How do we safeguard things like trust, privacy, truth, instead of letting AI erode them? And maybe ask yourself, what role will you play in critically evaluating and shaping this future?